Hey Josh, welcome to this podcast episode with Buildify. And how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you having me. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good too. Awesome. So initially, let's begin with like a quick intro about what you guys are working on at Iris.
Yeah, so I guess introduction of me, but I'm Josh, founder and CEO of Iris, and I started Iris back in early 2021. Started initially as an L2 for a blockchain called Arweave, which is a permanent storage chain. And then we took Arweave from about 10,000 transactions a day to about 15 million a day. And then about a year ago, made the decision to go and build our own separate L1, our own data network to solve a lot of the issues that we saw in the data chain space when we were working with in the Arweave ecosystem, adjacent to the Filecoin ecosystem as well. And yeah, so but kind of segueing into what Iris is building L1, a data chain, so a chain optimized to actually store data. So the goal of a data chain is how can we have large amounts of data, I think exabytes or more worth of data on chain. Um, and then the second big focus for us is how do we not just build a really high performance data chain, high performance storage network, but also have these different kind of data applications or utilities on the chain that allow you to do things with your data. And the idea there is that you don't just kind of store your data in Iris, you'll be able to monetize it, compute on it, annotate it, and all different kind of parts of the data stack. So the goal for Iris is how do we actually verticalize the entire data stack into this L1?
Got it, got it. Also, like next thing, I'm like very curious on one more thing. Like, how does the offerings at Iris help specifically to the AI protocols? Like, how think Iris contributes on that side?
Yeah, so there are kind of two main ways that we serve them right now. So one is that we help them obviously store large amounts of data, whether it's data sets, model weights, and also be able to retrieve that data in a very low latency way or very quickly, basically. And then the other kind of way that the other focus we have, I guess, is helping teams monetize their data as well. So we work with several teams within the Web2 world. So one of them also being a public company as well, where we help them sell their data to some of these larger AI firms like OpenAI, et cetera. And the idea is that the actual data sets will live on Iris and do live on Iris. And the actual monetization, this will come after mainnet, but the monetization will actually happen on the chain as well, where the data sets and the data is tokenized. And when people actually, or when companies or people are buying data, they're actually basically buying this token on chain. So th those are kind of the two big focuses we have within the AI stack.
Got it, got it. Also, like, what role does blockchain play in the AI scenario or offerings which you explained right now? Like, how being on chain helps with this?
Yeah, so there's kind of an economic point where the reason why we build this decentralized network, this centralized data network or storage network, is because we can reduce costs drastically. We can also bring in unutilized hardware to allow anyone to essentially store data in a very cheap way. So there's that point, and then from a monetization point, being on chain allows for a permissionless marketplace. And the reason why permissionless marketplaces are great and why they do so well is that there's just a greater level of accessibility where anyone can participate, anyone can list the data sets on the marketplace, anyone can buy data sets. There's no kind of walled garden, so to use kind of traditional language, around the actual data itself. It can be fully kind of commoditized into this marketplace.
Got it, got it. Also, like one more thing, there are like a lot of individual contributors or developers who are like definitely looking to contribute to more and more projects. So I'm curious, like how can developers and users contribute to the Iris ecosystem? Like how should they get started with it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So you can just to kind of get going and learn about Iris, you can look at our documentation. It's relatively simple, but if you have any questions, then obviously hop in the Discord and we can answer any questions. If you actually want to get building a like a whole application on Iris, if you already have an idea, then obviously just get building and we can help you with any questions that you have. But if you actually want any ideas, then we can also give you a ton of different ideas because we have a massive document internally that has 10 plus different ideas of different applications that you can build. And one example is essentially like a web scraper that will aggregate kind of the most valuable data on the web and then list it on the marketplace and sell it to people as well. So that's kind of one example of an application that we're looking to get built. So yeah, like, there are kind of a few avenues there, but the main thing is that we're happy to support in any way possible. And please hop in the Discord. Yeah.
Got it, got it. Also, like Iris being like an data chain, like mostly specific to data side of things. So I'm curious, like how can users have their control over their data? Like, can you explain us more about the data ownership at Iris for users?
Yeah, so you can choose to, I guess, define your own. I mean, what data ownership really means is that you can do whatever you want with it with your data. So if you want to keep it private, you can. If you want to make it open and public for anyone to read, you can. If you want to sell it, then you can. Ownership is just around having kind of the rights or the control. So when you write data to Iris, you can encrypt it, you can leave it open, you can attach licenses via tokenization. So you can actually describe how data should be used on the network. So if someone wants to consume it, they consume it in kind of a compliant way, so to speak. So yeah, we take a very pragmatic view where we just say we allow the developer or the user to design whatever use case they want to design, and if that's full control, where they have it fully encrypted, or whether it's no control or it's just fully public, then we support kind of every like solution on that spectrum, I guess.
Got it, got it. Also, like right now, as we move forward with like the crypto X AI scenario, you have seen like we have seen like a lot of hype around DAI and like a lot of protocols coming up with different narratives and all. So right now, what do you think? Like how the whole scenario of DAI or crypto X AI protocols look like to you? Like, is it actually something which we need, or is it just like another wave of hype to pump the tokens and all?
Yeah, I mean, with any kind of cycle of any form, whether it was NFTs in the previous crypto cycle or I guess AI in this cycle, I would say 99% of what exists is not that valuable, and then 1% becomes very valuable. And we see this with NFTs, right? Before 2021, there wasn't really tokenization for anything. And even after the 2021 boom, most of the kind of, I guess, art died, not all, but most. And but we do have now different kind of more useful utilities for tokenization now. We see more ticketing startups and things like that. So a lot of like really interesting use cases now for tokenization for with NFT tokenization. So and with AI, it will be very much the same, where a lot of these AI agent protocols, whatever, will won't be around in a year or two time, but there will be a few. There probably will be a few of these protocols that do exist and actually will be 100 billion a dollar plus outcomes because they're actually doing something that is revolutionary. And maybe if you're bullish on decentralized training, maybe it's going to be one of the decentralized training protocols because that's at least something where you can say being on chain actually provides this massive coordination of resources that lowers the cost of training models, which is like a multi-billion dollar problem. So there are definitely some use cases where I'm pretty confident they'll be useful. But there'll obviously be a ton that aren't useful. So I think that's just the reality.
Got it, got it. And now coming back again to Iris, actually. So being like being a L1 infrastructure for data specifically. So what kind of use case would you like to see more being built on Iris, like kind of protocols or any specific category which you feel should like prioritize building on Iris?
Yeah, I mean we are within crypto, our focus is broadly within AI, but I'd say specifically within the training part of the stack. So very interested by, as I said, decentralized training. I think uh, because I am personally bullish on them, I want all of them to be using Iris. I think that is that's obviously a big one. But outside of Web3, to be honest, we're very focused on Web2 and onboarding Web2 data. And I think by the end of this year, 98% of the data that's on Iris will be from traditional like Web2 or just traditional companies essentially. And a lot of that will come from how can we actually help these teams or these companies monetize their data more effectively. That's kind of the big focus for us.
Got it. Also, like, are there any projects right now live on Iris? Like, are there any projects being built or like not right now?
Yeah, no, we have tens of we have about over 30, so 35-ish applications that are storing or retrieving data on Iris in some way, and that's across different ecosystems. And then we have a few kind of native application teams outside of the basic kind of DeFi primitives, should I say? So three like kind of a few kind of interesting, unique native applications on the chain. And so yeah, so we have a ton, but our focus is how can we get as many applications storing data, and then how can we funnel some of that data into these services or applications on the chain, like the marketplace and things like that.
Got it. Also, like, can you highlight few projects which are live on Iris right now? Like maybe two or three, which are like very
Yeah,
interesting to you.
yeah. So let's talk about on the storage side. I am interested by Sci-Hub is one of the more recent ones, which is actually a Web2 application that a lot with about 5 million MAU. It's actually used a lot and very heavily in China because a lot of Chinese students use it to essentially access a ton of science papers, basically. And all of those papers now are being stored on Iris as of late. So that's one of the more interesting ones, and because it's such a large application. And then we have Brick Road, which is the native application, which is building a data marketplace. Their focus is pretty much purely on Web2, which is how can we help companies essentially sell their data and make money, and doing so on chain in a more cost-effective way. So that's Brick Road's focus. And then we also have, I guess, a more Web3 equivalent called Codata, who just recently started storing a lot of their robotics data as well. So we just announced that the other day that Codata is storing about 40 terabytes worth of robotics data. Yeah, so we have a pretty broad set of broad set of use cases.
Got it. Also, like, how does the incentive structure looks like for projects or developers who are planning to build on Iris? Like, apart from incentives, also, do you guys have any other programs currently or any accelerator program going on, like which will support these early projects?
So we don't have any like grant programs or specific programs. We do incubate teams now and then, so we are incubating some teams. And so if you do come with a really interesting idea and we get kind of really excited about what you're building, then we'll be happy to actually incubate, and well, and that means helping build, even funding in the short term, and then obviously helping you spin out and fundraise. So that entire process. Um, so we do a little bit of that, but it's more ad hoc. So if you do have some interesting ideas, then reach out to me, and then we can definitely discuss that.
Got it, got it. Also, right now, moving towards a last question of this session. So, I would love to know like how the roadmap looks like for Iris for this year and in future. Like, what more advancements are you guys planning to bring for the ecosystem or for the technical architecture of the chain?
Yeah. So I mean, goal number one is getting to mainnet. So we're going to be doing that in the next few months. And then thereafter, it's really just around growth. Our focus is how do we onboard more companies, native applications, etc., to store all of the data and and also do things with the data as well. So our big focus will be initiatives around, yeah, finding founders who want to build different kind of data primitives natively on the chain that tap into a lot of the data, a lot of the actual data on the network. But yeah, mainnet is the biggest. Mainnet is the biggest milestone in our project's lifetime. So that's probably the main one that I'll call out.
Got it, got it. So thanks, Josh. Thanks a lot for like giving us your time and coming onto this podcast and sharing so much insights about Iris and the whole AI and crypto ecosystem. So thanks a lot for joining us.
Awesome, thank you.